No Canyon.
No, right
They're
in,
live.
right
Oh,
in.
Rob. He gives us no
Well,
Canyon
this is the first
anymore.
time. Let's be honest. This is the first time we've had Jeremy from the get go, and he's looking
Do it
dapper
live.
the
Mm.
with the 90s styled facial hair.
Yeah, I'm getting a beard
All he
trim
needs now is his
on
frosted
Friday.
tips back. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, how are we
Looking
doing?
very suave.
Jeremy, want to start us off? I know you had to set a big weekend.
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Beautifully.
Okay.
We
yeah,
can.
I have my new computer, but it doesn't have a webcam yet, so I got to get a webcam, so I'm just on my phone.
How do you buy a computer with no webcam? That's like Porky Pig without a stutter, man.
My new computer doesn't have one, actually.
Well, I got like a really nice monitor, so it just doesn't have webcam built into it because it's like just like a big gaming monitor. But
all right.
Yeah, we just got back yesterday from Babe King's, which was super fun this weekend. Posted some photos right on the beach.
Yeah, that looks super nice. How many people?
We had around 24 booked, but there was like a bunch of people dropped as they, you always have attrition in a tournament, right? But we had like a lot of people. So we were down to 16.
Oh, that is a lot.
Yeah, it's 8 people dropped. Yeah,
33%.
Somewhere around there. Like, and usually if it's like a 40 or it's a bigger tournament. That
you can an 8-man drop doesn't really, you don't feel the effect, but
yeah,
24-man event you feel.
We felt it a little bit more. A couple people got sick, just weird, stuff. But of the group that we had, everyone had a good time. We had people came in from Pacific Northwest, from Canada, from Reno. So for all up and down the West Coast, we had a bunch of people. Portland, Seattle area came down. So still good amount of travel people came in.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Good morning, Adrian,
it was a great,
from Western Australia.
Yeah, it was held at like a harbor, but it was a convention center at a harbor, like where like they had different rooms. Like while we were there at this harbor facility, there was like 3 weddings, a bunch of different things going on in the various rooms, and we just had one of the rooms, which we did a count, and it could probably hold, if we maxed it out, 16 tables. So we're just hoping to grow now that we have a spot for Bay of Kings that's set each year. We're just hoping to grow it out. And then the Saturday night of Bay of Kings, Brenton's dad is like a sailor, not like in the military, but he just loves sailing boats. So he's been part of one of the yacht clubs there for 50 years. So he's the Commodore of the.
Is Brenton from San Diego or
why does that not surprise me that like Brent? I don't know.
Originally.
Okay,
that just seems right. That like Brenton's dad's a Commodore of a yacht club or something.
I guess so. Basically, that means that
he must be really good at Armada.
Yeah, we were allowed to use their facilities, so that's where we had our Saturday night barbecue. Was right, literally on the beach at that club. But it was awesome. Super great event. It was a beautiful venue. I think it captured sort of what we're trying to have in California of really utilizing our weather, our location. On the Saturday, on day 1, we had a taco bar set up.
Oh, nice.
So we had one of the great local, there's Mexican food in San Diego is amazing. We had a delivery where it was a whole long row of like all the meats, all the fixings. So we had lunch that day, taco bar. Day 2, we had pizza. So all the food was supplied, brought in.
Nice.
And then we had the social event on Saturday. So as far as the event itself, a super great success. So if you're at all interested in coming out to California, September, was like 80 degrees on the beach. If you want to escape cold weather, San Diego, that time of year it's beautiful.
Did being at a yacht club push the price up much?
No, I mean, I think, ideally we want more people to come next time. But the yacht club was free as far as the barbecue place. So the venue that we had at the harbor, I think definitely we wanted to have 24 plus was like the number we were shooting for
to break even or
but we were a little less than that. But I think we really wanted to showcase this year how good of the type of event we want to hold as a region. And then we're just hoping through word of mouth that next year we'll get a couple more people and we'll start being able to build Bay of Kings up as one of our marquee events.
Well, what you'd need is a marquee player like Rob Fanuff, don't you?
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. You get me to come.
A man to draw the people.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
and if anyone is interested, we will come. We will come get you from the airport. We will take care of you. So, yeah, it was a super fun event.
Mm.
Awesome.
Yeah, nice. And how did you do?
So I went 4-1 and finished in 4th place overall, which was pretty good. I had a bunch of really great games. I had a really close game against Sean Polka, who was Paragon for Masters last year that I won. Really super great game. Sean's a great player. I played Ryan Munsell from Seattle in the final round. He won the overall tournament, but I beat him in the final round. So, but
Playing
he was so
Lizards?
Ryan Munsell. He was so far ahead at that point, it didn't matter, really. But that was nice. I had a couple. Sorry, go ahead.
Was Ryan playing Salamanders?
No, he was playing his beautiful Redwall themed army as dwarves. So he has an army of
that takes me back. Man.
Oh, it's amazing. It's beautiful. It's all of like mice and badgers and all the creatures of the forest.
Yep.
And he was running it as Imperial dwarves.
Okay.
Yeah, that list is that infantry formation, I think, goes under the radar. It is devastating. So.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I kind of don't like it because it is like it's so good it's almost auto, and I just don't think it was necessary.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see that disappear
but I
at
did
some
come,
point.
My opinion of I played Basileia, trademark. So
I thought, why didn't you give the Twilight Kings like one final outing?
I just had too much. I didn't want to borrow Britain's models, and I was taking a break from painting, so I just still didn't have the army ready. So wanted to take the Basileia out for another run, and it kind of it's a good army, but I think it's not an army. I don't think for me, the build I have, it's very difficult to win 5 games. As soon as you're going to have a game where you bounce, and that list does not fight back well when it bounces. It's just so elite. So I'm curious to see. I don't know, and I hope the audience can prove us wrong, but I haven't yet to see a base alien list that could consistently go like 5-0 or 6-0 at that caliber of event, like when you're playing against Masters level people. So, but still fun list to play, but I think it does have some weaknesses.
Yeah, nice. I just need to get some more units painted for mine. I think I'm just too restricted by what I have, similar, to you with your Twilight Kin. If you get restricted by what you have, then, and that comes down to the fact that when I'm painting, I'm just, painting what I feel like painting, not towards a list.
Yeah, and that could be my problem is I just don't have. I have the the old school like Knights and Ogres and Elohi and Julius, and it's when it works, it works. It just can't play. It can't play back from. It's almost like any double ones you roll loses you the game, because every combat is so important. But it's cool. I got another regiment of the Empire of Just Skeletons as my prize, picking my prize when we were doing the prize raffle. So was stoked, and then I got to go into Scott Holcomb's coffer of multi-basing terrain STL files and picked a bunch of stuff for my EOD basing. So nice. he's gonna print me out. He's gonna print me out a bunch of stuff. So super psyched.
Awesome. Yeah. And so are you actually going to finish the Twilight Kin, or do you think you'll wait and see what happens?
I think I'm gonna still work on it, but to be honest, I for one am totally excited to see what they do. I'm not at all the sky's falling, but it did take a little bit of the wind out of my sails of not knowing what really to do. I mean, I could keep painting the units that I have, which I still want to do because I am really happy. Like what I have done, I'm really proud of. But it's more of like I feel like another bug biting me, and I'm just gonna go with where the energy and passion has me going right now, which is to start work on the EOD, and then also go back to the Twilight Kin, or figure out what other faction I want to run them as. But without without knowing even like a hint of which direction it's going to go, I kind of don't want to put any more eggs in that basket.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you guys think about that?
I think that's fair. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure where they're going to go with it. Like you assume that it won't be so far deviated that there'll be heaps of rage other than Chris Davis. But you just don't know. You just don't know. You assume there's still going to be an elf element. But, how do they, I think you went on, Jeremy, Rob and I talked about our thoughts on it and what could they do. And, Rob had this idea of, will they really blend them with the Night Stalkers, as in, almost elves that have been modified by contact with the Night Stalkers? And, that could really change the theme, although I think that would work in your favor. Probably.
Yeah, I mean, that the whole elf melding with beast is kind of like my whole elf snake thing, so I think it would work. But I listened to your guys' episode, and I thought that was interesting. If they don't just want to have them evil elves, but instead they become elf Night Stalker hybrid creatures, that to me could be interesting. I'm just gonna be curious to see, like, and I totally get it, right? They're trying to find ways to have their IP be unique and different and sell their models. So it's like, I'm curious to see where they're going to go. Because that sort of like sexy dark elf, I love it. I mean, you know me, but that's like very much Old Hammer, right? Like we know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it really comes down to it, doesn't it? Are they going to decide to really run with IP or not? Because if it's elves wearing evil armor, then that's not IP. That's just more of the same. Yeah, and Paige is having that thought as well. So,
and that makes sense, right? Because Night
I hope they do. Like, I think something serpent like what you've built already, Jeremy, is awesome. Like, I would love to see like serpent style,
like
elves.
a Naga themed army or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like, you could still have like almost like elf upper. Totally Naga like. I think that would be cool.
Gorgons, right? Medusa.
And it hasn't been, hasn't really been done. So, I we'll wait and see, cool. I guess. But who knows when we'll actually know? And that's part of the problem, I guess, for you, Jeremy. It might be 12 months before you touch that army again.
Yeah. So by then I'll have one unit at VOD done, and then oh man, we were at the tournament.
No, let's be honest. You'll have 4 models on a base done.
Dude, we were at at Bay of Kings. Zach Pierce from Reno had brought an army, her ogre army that he had painted in 30 days. And I was just looking at it, and I was like, "You son of a bee!" And Britton just comes up to me. He said, "Jeremy, we're all on our own hobby journey. Don't compare your hobby journey to
some people are slower than others."
Yeah. And I'm just looking at this, and I'm just like, oh God, I just was like looking at him, and I'm just like, oh man, I want to punch you, and then it's just like, how do you do this in 30 days? But
that's why I'm totally, and I mean, our scene not having scaled hobby scores helps support it, right? But that's why I'm totally all about the quick or contrast paints now, because I can just do that, highlight it up. It can look good without being amazing, the good from 3 foot, 3 feet thing, and I can just get stuff done.
And Brenton envisions Bay of Kings in that sweet spot between fun for experienced players, but also a scene builder. So it's 1995 points, and his max paint score is 20, and a tabletop tournament army is maybe 13 to 15. So all the armies are pretty close, and then all the sportsmanship points, your best opponent, that goes to the sportsmanship award, but your sportsmanship score was your opponent on time? Were they great?
Stuff on the table, objective stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Did they handle the ups and downs of the game in a gracious way? So it's very.
Well, we know you didn't. Did you do that this time?
Oh yeah. Yeah. No
bad game votes, did you? You didn't get any bad game. Okay, all right.
No.
Those days are over.
You weren't sports scored out of first place or second place.
No. I was okay. And like I said, the top spots. Ryan really did get away with the event. He had a bunch of early big wins, but I think 2, 3, and 4 were all 8 points within each other. So all like pretty close.
What was the scoring system?
So it was win, loss, draw, attrition. So
Cool.
very much an old school 5-10, 15 modified by attrition. So again, trying to keep it simple, not too complex. One scenario was themed. It was dominate, but in the middle of the dominate circle was a little model that was like a mimic, that's like the chest with like the creature coming out. And each turn you would roll, and depending on what you roll, the center of the dominate circle would either move to the left or the right 1 to 3 inches.
Yeah, cool.
So it was like a moving dominate circle that would happen at the beginning of each player's turn, just to give the newer people a little flavor of what a unique event. But Britton is a project manager by trade, so his events are just smooth as butter. So shout out to him again for running such an awesome event.
That's why he needs to be RC.
Well, yeah. No,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
would get no argument from me, my friend.
Yeah, Brinton for RC. We should make some shirts.
Paige, Neo, make a political commercial.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not talking a simple image this time, Paige. We want a full video. Especially with an image of his, how he's got the long hair.
And
these
I want
days.
like
It has
the
to be
mullet.
like
inspirational music in the background with like the flag rippling.
Oh my gosh. These are terrible.
Make America great again for the RC.
Oh geez, let's not go there. Let's keep it within reason, fellas. And we had Dojo GT was this weekend too.
How'd that go? Who won? Did we hear?
So yes. So Brad McKay got best battle with his creatively diverse list of 6 white hordes, 2 zombie legions, and like a character.
Yeah, right.
And then so I think Dustin won best overall, and then Brad was best battle, I think. So
okay. Gee, that's an interesting list to dominate Dojo with.
Yeah. So
yeah.
And then Nick Michelonis won I had donated for their countercharger award. They have the big samurai sword for first place, and I had sent them like the dagger version. So it's like 5 inches. So I was like completely average. So I was like, so Nick Michelonis won the completely average size samurai sword. So but yeah, they had a fun time. So
I love playing Nick. He's such a fun.
Do we know how many Dojo got in the end? Did they get their 6? Did they max out at 64 or?
Oh no, they were in the 30s this year. So
yeah, do you guys feel that we're getting a little waning of interest, or is it that there's a lot of tournaments, or what do you feel?
I think we're in a holding pattern waiting for this new Clash of Kings. I think once the new book drops, I think there'll be renewed interest.
Yeah. What if there's though, like, because we had a big one, right? What if there's not a lot of change? Because I mean, my understanding is the change isn't huge, other than the extra stuff, which is kind of what we discussed that they should do, right? A book every like second year that has other stuff, and then a bigger, unless there's stuff that needs a knock on the head, which there is.
So we talked about that at the event as a group, actually talking about this very topic.
Shit, too bad you're not on a podcast where you could have recorded it and maybe had an episode.
So in some regions, like the Portland scene, they have tons of new people. Reno, same thing, tons of new people. But I think what you're seeing is we've now had Summer of Sigmar was what, 2015, 2016,
2015.
Got that. Yeah.
So we've now had people playing this game for 5 or 6 years. So I think in general, I think we're having just some people right now are not so much waning interest in games, but I think it's cyclical. I think some people are like, I know a lot of people are getting into Dead Zone or Firefight or Marvel Crisis Portal. I think some people are just maybe kind of not sick of it, but are like, I'm going to play something else for a little bit. So that's why I feel maybe when you play the only one game system really hardcore for 5-6 years, you take a break. Maybe that's maybe that's what. But Crossroads, they just had Crossroads, which was
true. That was massive.
Massive. So I think it's just every region is different, and I know in Texas, some of the Texas people aren't really playing Kings right now, or they're taking a break, or at least some of the groups within there are. But I know for us in our region, we're getting a lot of new people. But yeah, I think Rob's right. I think people are always waiting for Clash Pack and then waiting to see like what's going to be the next big. Because we don't really know, right? I know they're rounding out they're rounding out some of the ranges they have right now, but we don't know really what the next big Kings release is going to be.
That's right. I think the Ogres is a really good call. I like, the more I think about it, I think releasing the Ogres is a really good call on multiple levels. It's currently a good army. You know, there's not a lot of competition in terms of ranges, even in the STL market. You know, I just think I hope
it's an elite army that requires less models to paint. The models are bigger, so even if you just want to contrast it, you can probably paint them up a little bit faster. There's a lot of good reasons for that, and I think the models are great. I mean, and new chariots we've been needing for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, and I think I have a sneaky feeling we'll probably see that chariot used as a base for multiple types of chariots, because like the chariot models is where they've been lacking across ranges. So, you know, having said that, you know, maybe chariots still need to be a bit better. That's a type of unit they've really struggled with over the years, is getting chariots into a sweet spot, isn't it?
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the EOD chariots, but I did pop open the new skeleton sprue, which is awesome. Their new hard plastic sprues, every one that I've taken a look at, I'm really happy with. I like the resizing of the enslaved guardians. Very nice. So I think again the quality of their. I
think this is Crossroads, and this is the man Mike Rossi. You know.
Yeah. So I think it's just from region to region. It's just a little different, and you know it's cyclical and things. And I think also too, I don't know what you guys feel, but I think in many ways, Kings has actually been before. I felt like, and I still think it is, but Kings was very much the Goldilocks, where it wasn't too big, it wasn't too small. You knew every single person. 99% of the people were all agreed and were nice and whatever. And I think actually when you look at Fanatics and look at the scene, I think the scene actually has grown. And I think we've had maybe some growing pains in our social media dialogues with each other around certain things. So, which may, you know, so I just think, you know, let's just stay reconnected to what we love about Kings, which is that it's a minute to learn, lifetime to master game system. I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking out of. It doesn't make sense what I'm saying, but I think some of the narratives going around lately in the scene too, even if maybe it comes from a good place, I just think maybe the dialogue hasn't been super great around some topics, but nothing we don't have agency over to change.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think as a whole it's grown. I mean, it's just, I don't know. And I think part of the American feedback is probably that there are so many tournaments now that maybe for some of those tournaments, unless they've got something different like Crossroads, right, that maybe we're seeing less people attending because there's more tournaments close to home. So you're probably getting less people travel as frequently, which might lead to smaller tournaments, but more as a scene as a whole.
Well, gas prices too are not.
No, that's true.
I mean, it's $3 where I live, but like, or $3.50 or $4, but like, you know, there's places where it's super expensive. So I'm sure that's a contributing factor as well.
And I think what you normally would see too, and this is not throwing shade at anyone, I think post Masters there's always normally an excitement buzz. I think this Masters we learned a lot about, you know, travel costs and everything, you know, about how to have a successful event. So I think maybe some of the Postmasters hype wasn't as strong as it normally is in a normal season. I don't know, and that maybe has people down a little bit. But like Rossi said, I know people at Crossroads had a absolute reinvigoration blast. So I'm
actually Rossi commenting triggered me about a question I had for you, Jeremy. I was listening to and Rob the narrative episode. And what's his name? Brandon Brandon did an outline of releases coming up. Did I miss Mike's name?
Next year sometime, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Mike chime in. I don't know.
It.
Well, I mean, you got Mark Barber's coming out in January and February, like two novels, right? And then we've got C.L. Warner's book coming out at some point.
About he listed
War.
right up until like I think it was 2024 or 25, and I might have just missed it when I was in the car, but
well, dwarves got stubby legs, and maybe in the timeline they're not caught up yet, so maybe.
And my sense is they have a lot of stuff that's finished, and they just can't all release it at once, right? It's got to be released, and I think
I mean the cool thing about Mark's is that his two are being released at once, right? Because they're concurrent timelines, but just different points of view, kind of Game of Thrones
and
style,
thanks
right?
Again
That's
for
how they're
covering
written.
for me, Rob, in that second part of that episode. I appreciate it.
Oh, no worries. That was fun. Yeah, it was fun. I didn't, thanks to Ben Stoddard, really, who did all the work. I just sat in behind, and he wrote the show notes and kind of.
Oh yeah, your commenting wasn't copious, right?
I was, I'm probably the least, but I will say, I would say that I'm probably one of the lesser of the narrative type people, but I think that's something I'm going to change because Mark Barber's stuff in particular, and Ben's book, they're awesome, and so I don't know.
That's really
really
interesting. I'm exactly in the same space. Like you could have, I picked up Steps to Deliverance, like just cause I wanted to, throw some money their way and do it, and I read it and I enjoyed it. But listening to that episode, I was sitting there going, do you know what? I reckon I'm going to get more into this, and I'm going to listen to it. And in particular, I've been really looking forward to when Mike's book comes out. One, because it's dwarves, and two, because, Mike is just so delicious. But hopefully they do a picture on the inside of the cover or something. A little bit about the author.
An author pick. That's going to be, does he have the little, I wonder what hat he'll wear.
But no, I'm exactly the same point of view. They're actually grabbing me with what I could do, and I like the idea that there's going to be this set of books from the Celestians base that's like, how did we get here? And then that there's these other stories within the world.
No, I mean they're doing what you got to do, which is you got to world building takes time, right? And
I've got to look at Mantic websites though. But while I was listening to it, I was kind of like, Mantic really should do a better job of this. That like list the Winged Hussar stuff that references Basalia on the Basalian page. They really should just be directing, and like Winged Hussar, the same thing. Oh, you might have read about these models. Let's go have a look. I think they could do some work there on cross integration and trying to sell each other's stuff.
Yeah. Big time. I'm excited about all the narrative stuff coming out though, the books, but I'm also excited about Siege Rules coming back. I am a huge fan of Siege, and I'm excited about Ambush.
Run an Ambush tournament. I'll run one.
Yeah. I'm excited.
You could do like 5 games in a day.
Yeah. You just gotta, I haven't seen the rules yet, so the last time we ran a small little event, like, hey, new players, come on, 500 points. We had some douchebag show up with 2 regiments of Soul Reaver cavalry. And he just at 500 points, he just raffles stuff. So I'm hoping it forces some restraint on the player. Fingers crossed.
My memory from an original version that I saw is that it did. I don't know how it evolved, but my memory was that it was more along the lines of, let's take out the stuff that'll smash face at that level. And I think they looked at it from a unit size point of view mostly, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah.
Well, I meant to tell you guys, did you see that? I think I put it in the chat. It was a big hit. The Spyglass Countercharger Award at Bay of Kings.
That was good.
With the Kyle Timberlake, and he can't wait to bring it to every tournament to use the spy on the top table. So that was pretty fun. I was glad that it's cool to be able to give Countercharger awards and not it be different, and we can theme it to whatever tournament we're going to, when we bring that.
We even got a reference on one of the latest direct misfires about kind of the Countercharger award. I think one of them finished in the middle of the pack. I was like, nice. We're international, baby.
Legacy, the legacy.
We're the legacy,
yeah. I agree with Adrian. I'm keen for some Ambush. I'm keen for like, do you know what? It's probably going to grab me better than Vanguard did. The ability to just put a few units on the table and just go bang, bang, bang. Oh, we're finished. Let's play another one, you know?
Yeah.
And especially at our, gaming shed that we use where we've got about 12 different armies, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'll just bring up easy army right on your list, grab something else out and go again.
Yeah,
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
What have you been working on, Rob?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Michigan GT is Friday. We leave Friday. So I was telling Jeremy before we went on air, I mean, I have been honestly painting like a crazy person. Like I have never been this prolific. I'm gonna share few things. This is Krug, my new giant. I don't know if you can see him or not, but he's from
nice.
small resin. He's from a company called First Legion. I'll have to put some pictures on the thing. But yeah, he's fantastic model. And while I like the Mantic Giant, it's too freaking big. I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. Like I have a sensibility for like, hey, if it's over 5 inches, it's too freaking big. So this guy fits in my case. The Mantic Giant does not. Then I've finished Falfor Fastfoot the Monarch. So those who don't remember, I actually was painting a dragon, like a salamander fairy dragon thing, and I had a mishap where I snapped the wing off. So this was the
I love that model so much.
Yeah, it's the Manticore is dope.
Oh,
right? And then
so good.
And I become like a damn expert at. So this guy, I wish I had the real model, but it's from Westphalia. It's molded onto a horse and it's rearing up. And I have become, thanks to Kawe, he gave me a whole bunch of these, and I've become amazing at removing the rider from the horse. Now, obviously, when you do that kind of surgery, the horse is not survivable. Okay, but and then I built up the saddle, and then you can see I put a little. Well, you might not be able to see it, but little brass rod banner pole. I'll probably at some point put a flag on it. And this guy, he's killing. He likes to eat those cyclopses, the thunder seers. You can see the thunder seer skull there. So that's his job.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and then Michigan GT has a free chariot. Now, Kingdoms of Men or Kingdoms of Half Men, as my army is. I'm not. Let's be honest. I'm not running chariots, dude. The theme of my army is in the mountains. Okay, chariots doesn't make any sense. But I had to make a chariot, so I thought, hey, can I make a chariot that would somehow be usable in some other form? So this, long story short, I bought a bunch of things, and they were either way too big or, long story short, I ended up on Etsy, and I bought this guy. It's a barrel cart, right? It's got a horse and it's got a little cart. Now the horse was resin printed, fantastic. The rest of it was PLA printed, total shit. So I had to replace the wheels with GW. I have a lot of bits, and then I said, well, this is cool, right? This is cool, but how can I make it into a unit? So what I've done is, on the other side, I've added some guys protecting with crossbows, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to magnetize it into this thing here, and then there'll be 10 more guys up front. So basically, it's going to become a unit of crossbows. Or if I need, I can pop it off, and I can just use it as that. Right?
Wow, that's a really cool. It's like using unit filler, but the unit filler is another unit.
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
Take off and do something else with.
It's like cool. A unit wrapped in a unit.
Wrapped
in another unit.
The nesting doll. You just keep going deeper and deeper.
But that's the
we'll have to call him Babushka.
Yeah, that's great. So I've been mad painting, and then Sunday I got done with painting, and I sat down and I said, "Well, shit, I need a display board." So I started to mess around with some sketches, right? And basically, for those who don't remember, let me grab a base. My army has most of the terrain the backdrop is already built into the units, right? So all I've got to do is kind of like give it a stage. So it's like a step thing where it comes up, Does that make sense? And basically this will sit up against the back, and the display board is actually the base because there's already a bunch of rock there. So I was telling Matt, I had to find some wood. I can't find MDF to save my life. So I ended up with like a piece of plywood. And so this is kind of the sketch I came up with. I was originally going to do like four shelves or 4 steps, but I don't need don't need that much. So I ended up with do it here. So I ended up with this. This is a work in process from this morning. So it's 24 inches wide by 14 inches deep, and there's 3 steps. It's 5, 4, 5, and why 5 and why well 5 works well for the the bigger monsters, the cavalry in my list. The 4 works perfect for the infantry. So what's cool is I wish I had a later picture of it, but I've actually added like strips here. So there's going to be basically I'm going to wrap all the exposed surfaces on all the vertical surfaces in epoxy sculpted to look like rock. It'll match this just like that. So if I pull away the unit, it just looks like a rock surface. But when I back it up to it, does that make sense? It kind of blends in with the backdrop. And then there's going to be this picture actually does have it. You can just start to see I've added the wood strips. There's going to be like pieces of foam core that drop into the horizontal surfaces with the cutouts for the unit. And the theory is if I want to change it, I just rip that out and I would replace it. So it's like this stays all the same, right? It's all painted up, and then I can literally just change out the horizontal surfaces with a 1/4 inch piece of foam core and just cut out new units and stuff. And so, or new space. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big fan of the sunk units. I think they look cool. And all my bases are done on 1/4 inch MDF because that's how hobbyists roll.
Thick. That's how you roll.
Thick bases, just like my women. But yeah. So been plugging along on that. And yeah.
Yeah, it looks dope.
Yeah, it's coming along. I will say my hands are killing me. I actually finished texturing all the exposed sides except for the back. I'm still not 100% sure about the back yet. I think I'm going to add like a piece of Luan or hardboard, maybe magnetized, and then have just along the top that'll be textured. But I don't know. I have Friday. I'm leaving Friday morning. So I play Kings of War on Wednesday night, which means pretty much have Tuesday and Thursday to paint it. So tonight I got it all textured. Tomorrow I paint it. And then I still got to get the foam core and get the basing. So I'll probably end up just flocking most of the foam core. But yeah, I'm excited to see. I actually tried something like this before, but I half-assed it. I didn't do as good a job. Like this time I spent a little more time on it, and it's, you know me, man. When I like build stuff, it's like, I mean, it's like you could throw 4 or 5 of these bases in a bag and you could kill somebody, by swinging it. So I'm excited. I don't know about my list. I think my list is a little underpowered, maybe, but
it's Kingdoms of Men.
It's Kingdoms of Men. Yeah. In fact, I could share it actually. I've got. Let me just pull it up.
We got time.
Yeah, let me just pull it up here. Stop that. Let me just share screen. Let's see here. Window. All right. Let's see here. Boom. All right. You guys can see it. So, of course, you got to have custom names for all your units or you're not cool. So, basically, I got shield wall. They're just naked. They're just
Literally, or just no item, naked?
No items. Here's the thing about this list. This is, I will say, everybody that's seen this list is like, what the hell, man? There's no indomitable will in this list. None. There's no indomitable will. I don't want to waste the points. All my stuff relies on rally. I've got a captain that's rally 1. I have a monarch that's rally 2 for the knights. And the knights have headstrong. So I got to make my rolls. That's it. So so I've got a shield wall horde, which would love them to be foot guard, but I don't have the points. So spear phalanx. This is where the last few magic artifacts I went back and forth. I ended up with the hammer measure force. Stick him in the woods, stick him somewhere, let him take the punch, counter charge.
That's from Jessica, who we've got an episode coming out with on Wednesday.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the thorns. They're like a spear horde. I wish I had them in front of me, but Children of the Fall, fanatics. The background story for my army is they're Kingdoms of Men, right? But Children of the Fall, if you read the books and the flavor text for Rhodia, there's the children that want to go back to the times before the celestial mirror broke, right? Before the Fanulian mirror broke. And so I have fanatics that prescribe to the religion that's in Rhodia. And then I've got 2 units. I've got the Sons of the Drunken Ram, aptly named, as they coming out of a bar and actually use the helm of the Drunken Ram. And then the Wing Fury, which is my unit of Wing Lancers, Halfling Wing Lancers. They have Caterpillar. Mounted Sergeants, man. This 100 points, man. I could have had like another cannon or something. But you know what? These guys are clutch, man. They on Saturday, they, believe it or not, they took out an animated behemoth. They got him in the flank, and they just rolled like crazy and was like, oh, look at that. I was like, in defense 6, but man, speed 9 is awesome. Speed 9, nimble, even better, right? The whole point of this army is that there's pieces of this army that are fast. And it's sort of like, if you sit there, the cannons may eventually take you off, and the fast stuff will get around you, and we'll hit you the juicy center. And if you come at me,
that's where cannons work best, isn't it? Is like basically if you've got enough stuff to keep things away from them.
Yeah.
So
then I've got 2 cannons. Those I haven't seen them. It's ogres carrying big guns, right? Got my giant Krug. He's kind of one of the guys that can actually punch the defense 6 stuff. I've got General on a Winged Beast because that's just cool. I have an army. So this is our change. I had a guy just a hero mounted on a horse with the Ludum Station of Darkness, and I'm like, Crushing Strength 1. This has been more important. I have been getting my ass kicked by a Force of Nature army that has been wind blasting / lightning bolting me off the damn table. So this guy is going to hang around and try to keep the infantry alive. And then the Chariot has a special rule where once per game, you can actually give an aura like Spell Ward. So he'll be rolling with the knights and the monsters. Then I got the captain, because the captain is cool. I would love to put him on a horse, but I don't have the points. But Rally 1, he's great because defense 5 and his nerve is 13-15. He can, like, you can throw him out there and actually tie some stuff up. Or God forbid they get like a character too close. You know, he'll do some damage. Like the Pharaoh on Saturday. So, and then I've got the Monarch, and I can see the argument to not give him wings, but come on, bro. Look at the model. Got to give him wings. I mean, come on.
The Monarch with wings is nice.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The way it is like I've got the Monarch, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but this guy's got Meat of Madness, so he's charging 21.
Yeah, nice.
The Monarch's charging 20. And here's going to sound crazy. The Monarch is disposable to me. Like, literally, like, I'll throw him out there and I'll make you charge some stuff, and you might get him on a turn or 2, but in whatever you put out there is going to get eaten up by the knights. So, yeah, I do like the Monarch quite a bit. He's a cool model. And that's really it for the list. And then I've got the Chariot, which I should probably mention the Chariot. I should probably mention it.
I reckon I would love to see Chariots as more of a, because I still think they're not quite right.
It should be like a support function.
I think that really represents that impact factor. Even if it was like Thunderous 3 or something, right? That they go hard and they smash in on that initial charge, but then, that's a lot harder to hit back.
So special event, Michigan GT gives you this Chariot. They call it Chariot X, and you can see the stats here. It's like a Chariot, right? No big deal.
What do you think about Matt giving Chariots either Slayer or the other one, but on the charge only?
Yeah. That'd be cool.
That would be cool, right?
By the way, why is Chariot's the only unit in the game that doesn't it's not affected by Rampage or Slayer?
I think that was an attempt to not make them worse.
I see. Yeah.
Right. So I think and that's not knowing, but I assume because it's the same with Phalanx, right? Yeah. So I think they were like, oh well, if it affects that, Chariots get even worse, but they're still not quite right.
Yeah. So this Chariot, once per game, you can give a Phalanx aura, a Stealthy aura, a Spell Ward aura, which is cool. And then you have the ability to trick it out like you could. I'm keen. I did this last year, Speed Racer. So you can make it speed 9, with Wild Charge 1 and Pathfinder, I'm like, okay, so now I have this other unit that charges 19 inches. So I got 21, 20, and 19. And so if you got shooting, I have a relatively good chance to tie some stuff up while the rest of the army moves up, you know. And it's 22 unit strength, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you've got dash 23 with the rally 1 on the Fanatics, and then you got 23 nerve on, you know, I mean, it's a lot of nerve, right? 3 hordes. That's like 60, whatever, 66, no, 69, whatever it is. So it's a lot of nerve, and it takes, you know, you got to grind it out. And, you know, the ensnaring guys are great. And with the captain, it lets me get them redeployed into, hopefully redeployed into your cavalry or your flyers. So, yeah, it'll be fun. I have no illusions that I'm going to win the event. But it'll be a pretty army. That's what it's all about for me. So.
Yeah. Actually, going back to Jeremy's point on the Slayer or the Rampage on the Charge, which I really like the idea of, what I would love to see with some of these things that I think is a little bit more thematic, rather than be like, you know, D6. I think the range is too much. Like, I'd love to see something like 2D3, so that you're always getting a minimum of 2. Because I just feel like sometimes with these things, like, and it's the same with the Giant, you know, so that you're just bringing the variance down a little bit. So and it goes from 2 to 6 rather than 1 to 6. And I know it's not a lot, but I feel like you've just got that control of the variance a little bit more, and it would make it, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it would make a difference.
It sucks when you roll a 1.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, you would appreciate this, Matt. In my game against Ryan Munsell, he took Garrick Heavy Hand into a Knight Regiment, which is like game over, right? For the whole game, the Knight Regiment's going to do, you know, defense 6, regeneration, radiance of life. And that Knight Regiment had the Helm of the Drunken Ram, so TC3. So Garrick locks him down for a turn. I do nothing. He fights them again, rolls all 2s to hit. So they get all 3. So they go from wounding on defense 6 to thunderous charge 3. I didn't kill him that time, but it was so funny, like very dwarfy. Like all of a sudden the Knights were able to actually do something. That guy's a boss.
One of my favorite gaming memories, it was like when 2nd edition started and you could put like the regen item on things like a tree herder. And then like backed up by the Green Lady, and I had a tree herder hold up a horde of knights for 5 turns.
To answer Param's question here, it is from Atlantis Miniatures is where the Manticore's from. The Rider is from Westphalia Miniatures, and the rest is just like scratch built bits and bobs. And I have a lot of like bits out of my butt. Like, I mean, a lot of bones on the bottom, skulls, empty bottles, just whatever. So, and don't forget, you gotta have a handle. Gotta have a handle on your models, man. All models that are important to you should have a handle. So
I was going to take some pictures of the bases I was working on, but didn't get around to it. But yeah, I'm trying mostly to have something to hang on to. Yeah.
So I'm excited. Michigan GT. Yeah, I'm excited. What have you been working on, Bat? You've obviously probably been holding out on us. You probably got a lot of stuff that you've been painting.
I don't know about a lot. I thought I would achieve a lot, in a week with COVID, but because we all had COVID, I didn't achieve a lot. I did get almost a whole bunch of stuff, all the stuff needed printed for my basing, but I'm working on the halflings. And you'll hear about it on the next episode that I am writing a story. Well, I will write a little bit of a story to draw it all together about these halflings that keep coming back to their dragon topiary that they have in the forest. So I've got some bushes shaped like dragons. So, and then the story is going to be that they've used whatever technology gives the halflings spell ward to protect the dragon topiary when a big fire's gone through, because the rest of the bases are quite bland and not super colorful.
Wait, what did you call it? A dragon what?
Topiary. Like
topiary.
bushes.
Like
stuff.
the shaped bushes.
Bushes. Like the fancy garden with like they
like Versailles.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. See how it comes together. We'll see. It might look like dog's balls.
In other news, it looked like we have the Countercharge Fantasy Football League going strong. There's like 10 of us playing, and look like I'm gonna be 3-0 after this week. So rock on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Actually, while we're on that, we're only got 12 weeks left of the Countercharge Challenge. So we're gonna need to push hard to get to 2,100 points. So there you go, Jeremy. 2,100 points in 3 months for your EOD.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I haven't even started my salamanders. I need to get cracking on those guys, or that's what I committed to, and I haven't even started. So, but I did clean my garage, so that's a good start for me.
Yeah. This is good from Paul. No, fake resin printed painted bushes, Paul. Not, but I was about to put some real rocks on. And I probably will. And then but I've already said in my head, oh man, I'm gonna have to paint these.
Thank you. Thank you.
You got nothing on Chris Cox.
I can sleep tonight. I was worried.
Well, we got anything else, or should we just leave it there?
I think that's a good.
I think it's an exciting time. We got a bunch of cool events. I have one more event in November, but then it's going to be hunkering down over the winter. And just, and again, I just got to get something, because playing the Basileans again, this tournament was fun, but I'm just like, I don't want to play that army anymore. I love it. But
that's how I feel about the ogres. I'm just like, they're so well, the way I had been playing them is like, all right, I hit you with a brick. I hit you with a brick. And it really, like, it was fun the first however many times. Eventually, you're just like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, so, the Basileans is like, I maneuver, and then I wait until I can charge you with my whole army, and then if I don't get stuck, I kill all your stuff and win. And if I do get stuck, you countercharge me, kill all my stuff, and I lose. Right. And that's so I'm just excited to do something new. So
I like playing an army that's, you got to be a little bit wee bit cagey, right? You got to like actually play it hard. It's not one dimensional.
Yeah. I'm committing to you. I want to make a commitment to you guys, okay?
It won't matter.
I need some accountability. I will have one skeleton. I will have a skeleton test model, painted.
In 4 weeks.
No. By next video live stream, I'm going to have my test model.
A week to paint one model? It's going to take you a long time to finish that horde.
Yeah. Well, no, but I'm just saying, this is what I'm saying. I want to, start somewhere. The hardest,
I think that's a good goal, Jeremy. I think that's a good goal. Yeah, I will affirm your goal, and I look forward to seeing your skeleton next week.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the non-judgmental support, Matt. Appreciate that.
Oh, good Lord.
We're a loving family here at Kids.
We're something.
Support. Well, on that note, I think we can call it a night, boys.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for watching, peeps.
Yeah, man. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
See you later.